Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition of the show. As always, you're invited to join us here. Our toll-free number for you, it's 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, where you can take control and bring up whatever's on your mind. That is the point here. We also have our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into one of those, and you will sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And with you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
So, to start things out here, on a recent episode of Free Talk Live, we did discuss the love letters that have been being sent between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. Have you heard about these things,
Yes,
Mark?
these two love each other. They like sending little flattering missives.
Yeah, Donald Trump said he received a letter from Kim Jong-un that was quote, beautiful.
Beautiful, and then Kim Jong got an excellent one.
Kim Jong-un got one back from Donald Trump saying it was excellent, that he would seriously consider the ideas that were purported in that letter.
It reminded me of a time when people wrote letters. I mean,
it's quaint.
It is. You know, they're just jotting things down for each other.
Well, I mean, look, in a time where everything is digital, a letter becomes conspicuous.
It does.
So if, I'm behind by like a month in my email here at this point. I'm going to try to dig out of it at some point this weekend. But when you're getting all this email in, it's triage, right? Like you've got to prioritize. You eyeball. Oh, that one came from Mark. It's not that important. Like you got to look at the emails and figure out whether or not you even want to open this thing. However, if a handwritten letter. One of those ones that's like fake. Like sometimes they'll fake the handwriting with a computer on the front of the envelope.
Pretty much you can tell.
Yeah, you can usually tell.
But if you go to the mailbox and you get a handwritten letter, you're going to open it.
You're going
to. What does this thing say?
What archaic person? What who?
Oh, a convict has written.
Is this Grandma? Did Grandma send me from a letter from the grave? No, it's actually Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un writing letters to one another. And according to a report from CNN, President Donald Trump has now extended what he claimed was a spontaneous invitation to North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un.
Hold on. Whose invitation was spontaneous? His?
Donald Trump is saying he is spontaneously inviting the North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un for a handshake on the highly fortified Korean demilitarized zone.
Okay.
Lending his upcoming visit to Seoul new drama. See, Trump already had a visit planned. And he just decided to, hey, buddy, why don't you come on down to the DMZ and we'll shake hands. It's a long trip just for a handshake, but it's the kind of thing that you might expect this guy to do.
Yeah.
Given the relationship that these two have had. In a Saturday morning tweet from his hotel in Japan, Trump said if Kim was interested, he'd be open to a greeting on the border. Quote, if Chairman Kim of North Korea sees this, I would meet him at the border/DMZ just to shake his hand and say hello, Trump wrote. Trump is due to arrive in Seoul, South Korea on Saturday evening, that's tonight, and is scheduled for talks with the South Korean president on Sunday before returning to Washington. A senior U.S. official helping to plan the president's visit to the DMZ told CNN that key officials involved in the planning learned of the possible Trump-Kim DMZ handshake all at the same time from Trump's tweet suggesting the idea. So they're saying he didn't run it by anybody first. He just, tweeted out, let's do this.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
And I like that.
I get how Americans have the expectation that their president is being taken good care of by the Secret Service, and I understand all of these things, but you've got to be... I mean, Trump's the kind of guy that goes with his gut. Mm-hmm. And I think that is, some of the best and some of the worst of this guy. But... Yep. I mean, you've got to be able to be a little flexible. This whole, I guess I'm going to do what they tell me to do. I'll just do what my handlers say. I mean, America doesn't need that. What do we need that for? You can have any 14-year-old can fill that role. That's not what you need. So he's done a good job to some extent. There's no wars going on that I know of. There may be some drone bombers bombing somebody someplace.
I heard he stopped a drone bombing recently. Did you hear about that?
there was the attack on Iran that I heard the stop.
He was gonna bomb some 100. There was gonna be 150 people killed. He found out about it and he said, "Don't do that."
Right.
He called it off.
Well, it was found out about it. He authorized it and then realized how many people were going to die and then changed his mind. I like all of that.
Yeah.
These are things that I'm positive on. When somebody says, "All right, our broken robot isn't worth 150 dead Iranians," at least we have a price tag for dead Iranians. And I don't know what it is, but I'm interested in finding out what this price is. I know there's a value. Let's figure out what it is, because it seems like a lot of people in the military, the brass or whatever, not the soldiers. The soldiers are trying not to get shot, but the brass, they don't have any value for that stuff at all. It seems to me.
So, in more of this news from CNN, Trump said, quote, "All I did was put out a feeler if he'd like to meet." He told reporters in Japan, where he's meeting with with leaders on the sidelines of the G20. He said, quote, "He sent me a very beautiful birthday card." Trump told reporters later that Kim was, quote, "very receptive to meeting." He said of the possibility, "I can't tell you exactly, but they did respond very favorably." Trump also told reporters he would feel, quote, "very comfortable stepping foot in North Korea when he visits the DMZ Sunday." I think Trump is very, he's interested in being the first president to do that, don't you think? Not only was he the first president in the United States to actually, meet with and have a conversation with the North Korean dictator, but it wouldn't surprise me if he also wanted to be the first one to, set foot inside of North Korea, basically.
Yeah, I think that would that set him apart. If he can set himself up as a peacemaker, he distinguishes himself in many ways. He's already set himself up as a fiscal hawk, economic conservative. Mm-hmm. I like a lot of those things.
Didn't Jimmy Carter go over there as some sort of an envoy at some point after
North Korea?
Yeah, after his presidency, so not while he was president.
I don't know.
I feel like I've heard that he has done that. Anyway, Trump also told reporters he'd feel very comfortable going into North Korea. "Sure I would," said Trump when asked whether he would step foot into the country. He said, "I feel very comfortable doing that. I would have no problem." And here it is. No sitting U.S. president. Confirmed. No sitting U.S. president has ever visited North Korea, though former presidents Carter and Clinton have made the trip. Trump also insisted it would not be a bad sign if Kim stands him up. He says, "No, of course I thought of that." Asked when he...
Yeah, and it shows bravery, right? So what if the president shows up at the DMZ expecting his hand shook by the chubby little guy there, and nobody shows up? Well, I think that it shows the greater man.
It
does not look bad.
It looks
to me.
bad for Kim Jong-un.
Right. I think what it looks is that, people in the press would try to make it look bad, but I think only small people would say that looks bad.
For Kim Jong-un, it looks bad.
No, I'm talking about for Donald Trump. I don't really care what happens for Kim Jong-un.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't look bad for Trump. He honored his agreement in that case.
Right. If Donald Trump shows up there to stick his hand across the line to the DMZ to shake somebody's hand, and they don't show up, I feel like that's on them.
Absolutely.
But the domestic press, likely the international press too, will all go after Trump to say, "Ah ha! Ha ha! You tried to meet with the little guy and he didn't show up, and now there you are. Smarty had a party and nobody showed up," right? And, these people will amount to nothing. Their names will be remembered for nothing.
The reporters?
The reporters. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying I don't love a journalist who does their job, but they're arrayed in many ways against Trump at this point, and it gets a little tiresome.
Let me go to your calls and thoughts here. We have John listening in Dover, Delaware to WDOV. Go ahead, John.
Have you guys ever listened to Free Talk Live on Weed Man?
Yes, I probably have. Have you?
Well, that's how I'm listening to you guys currently.
Far out.
I wanted to let you know that. I'm really enjoying the show, too. Anyhow, listen, man, I think it's kind of cool that Trump's going to go shake this maniac.
Hang on, we're losing your signal. Hopefully you can get in a better cell, and we'll continue with here in just a moment. He sounded like he was saying he thinks it's cool that Trump's going to go shake this maniac's hand.
That's what it sounded like to me, too.
But we'll continue here. We'll see if we can get John back on with us, and your calls and thoughts also welcome. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE like freedom. You can join us here. And whether it's international news or something close to your home, you're welcome to join us and talk about whatever's on your mind here on the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40%. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And we're going to get back into your calls and thoughts. Your thoughts regarding Donald Trump and his invitation to Kim Jong-un from North Korea to just come shake hands at the DMZ, which will be, if it happens, should happen sometime within the next 24 hours or so. Right now in over in Asia, where he's currently in Japan, going to be flying into Seoul. He may actually already be in Seoul. They've got some sort of a meeting that he's there for besides Kim Jong-un. So it's just like he was going there, and he says he just thought it up yesterday morning or whatever and said, hey, tweeted out, hey, how'd you like to come shake my hand at the DMZ, basically, was the request. And he claims that the Kim's administration got back to him relatively quickly. It's not real clear whether or not the thing is going to happen, but if it does, we'll probably know by tomorrow night's show, would be my guess. And I want to go back to...
I hope so. I think it's great.
I think it's a really good move. I mean, this guy, Trump, you got to hand it to him. Again, we're not huge fans of a lot of the things that he's done, but...
Right. I mean, if the word in front of your name is president, the chances are I'm going to be beating you up as much as I possibly can. And I haven't promised to vote for Donald Trump or anything. I will do that if he pardons Ross Ulbricht.
Will I.
The ostensible Dread Pirate Roberts. But other than that, there's been moments when I've thought positive things about this guy, and I don't do that
and this
president.
Is one of those moments. Let's go back to John, though. He's in Dover, Delaware, listening to WDOV. You wanted to share your thoughts, John. Go ahead.
Well, I'm voting for the Don. He's got my vote already, man. I promise you that.
Okay.
But I think it's a good strategy that President Trump has here, man. It's the strategy of appeasement, and it's got this maniac from lobbing missiles across the ocean and shooting them towards Japan. And I think he's a genius, and all the Democrats in the media that are sleeping on this guy are going to look real stupid if history's ever written the right way, because I think he's doing historical things, and it's a shame that the media is so full of hatred towards this guy because, man, they're missing out on some great stories.
Well, if he does actually successfully help broker peace between North and South Korea, then that will be a pretty historic thing to, be written underneath his name.
He's a peaceful guy, man.
There's an argument that Trump...
Go ahead.
There's an argument that Trump is probably one of the more peace-oriented presidents of our lifetime. That's not saying a whole lot because, they're all a bunch of warmongers with the exception of maybe Jimmy Carter.
Are they ever? You could say that 3 times.
We've said it more than that. John, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Appreciate it, man. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, turning around and canceling a drone strike was a pretty big, symbolic gesture, and that just happened, I think, last week. Right. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as big as it gets. And what I like was the announcement. I found out that 150 people were going to die, and it just wasn't worth it. And it's not worth it. I don't care whether that drone was inside Iranian airspace or outside of Iranian airspace. I think the question is still up in the air. I'm not willing to just go one way or the other just because one side says this thing or that thing. There's what the politicians say, and then there's the truth. Mm-hmm. So I don't care which side it was on, though. I don't think your multi-million-dollar robot is worth anybody dying over. In the same way, I don't think that Iran has the right to invade the United States because a drone was in their airspace. I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, spying goes on between nations, and I get it. I see it. That's fine. If something got over an international boundary, probably people should talk, and maybe there should be some apologies issued or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with saying you're sorry. I think that since the UN has not found any nuclear weapons in Iran, that probably the Iranian deal should have gone forward the way it was previously. So I don't agree with Donald Trump on canceling the deal that there was previously. But I still like a lot of the things I see.
Something else regarding Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, it's almost like he's sort of drawn Kim Jong-un out and has successfully managed to, I don't know if humanize him is the right term, but he, prior to Donald Trump sitting down and actually talking with him, giving him some attention, right? This man was kind of following in the footsteps as best he could as his father and his grandfather before him.
They had a playbook.
Right, like, okay, launch a few missiles, send out a press release, threaten the United States. There's like a certain thing that they kind of do.
Japan, the United States, and South Korea,
So launch a missile, and then, repeat, right? Wash, rinse, repeat. and rattle that saber, threaten the United States, blame the United States for everything. And it's like the playbook has been flipped upside down by Donald Trump, just kind of showing some level of humanity towards this. And I mean, the guy who called earlier called him a maniac. I don't know if Kim Jong-un is as much of a maniac as his predecessors. So he's following in the footsteps of his grandfather and father before him. That's the history of the so-called supreme leadership of North Korea. It's only been in existence since the Korean War. And so, you've got this situation where his grandfather is basically worshipped as though he's a god.
Yeah.
And his father was pretty much worshipped like godlike as well. But I don't think that has really made the trip to Kim Jong-un, that sort of God presentation. Even the titles that they don't all share the same titles. They have different titles.
They have titles that stay with them forever.
For a lifetime,
but
or beyond lifetime.
His title isn't quite as amazing.
It's not as exalted.
Yeah. I think that with anybody, if you treat them like they're a human being and you say, look, here's the carrot and here's the stick.
Right.
I imagine the carrot was Donald Trump goes in and says, hey, I love this hotel. It's gorgeous.
Shame to see it turn to rubble.
Well, what would it be like if we put a half a dozen hotels like this all along this strip of water? Man, can you imagine people coming in here? We'd have some gambling, we'd have some drinking, we'd have some dancing girls. It'd be awesome. Well, wouldn't you like that? And the little guy's like, yeah, I want that. I want a strip. I want cars.
I mean, he's got a good life. Obviously, he's well fed. All consider,
he's well fed
compared to the rest of North Korea. He's sitting pretty, but he does seem to have a value for the idea of a better life and having more to benefit the people of North Korea. He seems to value the idea of bringing the Koreas back together, which is something that many Koreans for a long time have wanted to see happen.
Why not give him an honorary position over all of Korea, just like the Queen of England has? I don't imagine that when Queen Elizabeth passes away, which can't be too far from now, it will be a historic day.
Yeah.
And then I guess her son takes over. Please, I don't know all the lineage here, but I'm guessing that her son takes over. And maybe he goes mad. I have no idea. Maybe he can't be taken. Maybe it's her grandson because of the divorcee that her son's with. I have no clue how this all works. But maybe he's mad and goes bananas. Well, the House of Commons isn't going to listen to him. The MP isn't going to listen to him if he says, "That's it. We're going to war with Scotland," or whatever.
Our toll-free number, if you want to join us here, it's 855-450-FREE. Will Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un meet at the DMZ and have a handshake? Maybe chat for a little bit? Or not? This is Free Talk Live, and you can also bring up what you want.
Are you dealing with overwhelming credit card debt? Then it's time to get rid of it. Mortgage refinance from American Financing. You'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, so there's no pressure and no commission. No upfront fees either. I recommend American Financing because they continue to help customers save $1,000 or more each month without resetting their loan term. You may even be able to postpone up to 2 months of mortgage payments, creating an even greater upfront savings. Not a homeowner yet? Mortgage rates have been falling for the last few months, making it a great time to buy. Get started now by calling 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or try their new digital mortgage at AmericanFinancing.net. You can download an instant pre-qualified letter and you can complete the entire mortgage process online anytime, anywhere. 888-804-0303 or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being. despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us here. Take control of the airwaves. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Jump into one of those. You'll sound like you're sitting here in the studio with us.
I want to tell you about American Financing. It's a family-owned mortgage company, and they've been doing business for 20 years. They've got an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and like 3,200 Google reviews. They never charge upfront fees, and they've got every kind of loan in the business. They are really set up for people who want to get a mortgage in sort of the easiest way possible. You can just make a telephone call, or you can get their digital mortgage where you can apply, receive your pre-qualification, and close your loan doing everything online with American Financing in their digital mortgage. All you have to do is go to AmericanFinancing.net. Whether you want to refi or you want to consolidate some debt or whatever it is you're trying to do, even looking to finance your retirement. It's AmericanFinancing.net. And, they've got a telephone number here, 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303, AmericanFinancing.net. And their NMLS number is 182334. That's NMLS consumeraccess.org. AmericanFinancing.net. Tell them Free Talk Live sent you.
All right, our number here is 855-450-FREE. It's Ian and Mark in the studio here tonight on our live Saturday edition of the show. Mark, coming up, you want to talk about a bizarre S&M story or whatever? I'm not sure. Somebody got tied up to a bed and left there, and
the cops came.
Somebody's mad about it. We'll explain that here in just a moment. But first, let's go to David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello there.
Hey, yeah, can follow up on something that I shared with you months ago, and your Clipmeister made a clip out of it, that Gavin Clarkson, this dude that is in New Mexico running for New Mexico Senate, and he used to hold a federal position in the BIA. He was a financial legal guy. He's a Harvard graduate, Harvard and Rice. I think he has an MBA and a law degree, and he's a professor at New Mexico State in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And
what is the BIA?
Say again?
What's the BIA?
Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Okay.
And this guy is the guy that's actually a Choctaw tribal member. His parents were both tribal members, and so is he. And if Ian would probably remember him as the guy that wears the bolo tie and all the rest of the Western garb.
Okay.
And he's the dude that went in to get married in Washington, D.C., went in to get a marriage license, and the clerk at the counter wouldn't take his New Mexico driver's license, said it had to be something from the United States.
Right.
That guy. Yeah.
So what about him?
So I had previously, your Clipmeister made a clip when I called him before. I had previously questioned him on air on the KKOB radio station here in New Mexico. Asked him about, he wants to be a senator. So I asked him about a real piece of legislation that's before the legislature in Washington D.C. and has been for a decade with a half a dozen or more Republican sponsors. And this guy's a Republican. He wants to be a Republican senator. And so if the House ever passed that Parental Rights Act, it would come to the Senate, and he would have to vote on it. And so I asked him about family, parent-child law, family courts, children's courts, and I was asking him questions about that. And he didn't entertain even the first question. He shut it down immediately, and they did the radio thing where I asked the question that I asked, and then they immediately silenced me and let him say whatever he's going to say. And what he said was that that's a state question, not a federal question. He's running for a federal office, and that's where they dismissed my question. So I managed to question him the day before.
Typical
yesterday.
dodge, by the way, on the part of a politician.
Yeah.
Right, they're happy to give their opinion on any topic, whether it's in their purview or not, if they want to give their opinion on that topic.
I managed to pin him down on that same radio station on air, running for the same office again, New Mexico senator, 2 days ago. And so what I did is, as I said, you're running to be a federal senator, and you were talking about you were proposing that you were going to write and file a particular bill. And so let me talk to you about another bill that's in the Washington legislature. And I described the Parental Rights Act, which is, like I said, it's real legislation, and it's really there, and it's sponsored by half a dozen or more of your Republican colleagues.
And what does it basically do? What is the Parental Rights Act? What is its goal?
Well, what it does on many different issues, for instance, interactions of the medical industry or the the schools, or any other aspect of government where government says, okay, give us your kid because we want to do this to your kid, whether we want to inject them or we want to give your kid an abortion or we want to, mandate whatever else we're going to do to your kid. What it says is that, that's no more, that parents have the ability to say whether or not their 12-year-old daughter gets an abortion, or at least they get to know that she is getting the care, whereas presently in many states, a 12-year-old girl is pregnant, can go get an abortion, and never even have to tell her parents. So it's stuff like that. And so I established that this was real legislation, and that if he was succeeded in becoming a senator, it could realistically come before him, and he would actually have to vote on it. And then I brought up that I had previously questioned him on this same subject, and he said, being a Harvard graduate, law graduate and professor, he had said that it is definitely not a federal issue, it is a state issue. And so, Mr. Clarkson, I just proved to you on air that it is indeed a federal question because there's federal legislation that may come before you.
So what did he do then?
So now that I have say again?
So what did he do? What did he say?
And so I said, so now that I've corrected you, the biggest thing he did is he did two things. One, he didn't counter that I had just corrected him on air, and then he actually answered the question that he dodged the previous time around. So that was the 1-2 punch.
And what did he say?
He got corrected on. Yeah. What did he say? He said that he believed in parental rights, and that while being unfamiliar with the Parental Rights Act, he would have to become more familiar, but he did support parental rights and acknowledge that the government is way too controlling in the lives of parents and children, and that there does need to be something done about it.
Well, of course, the thing with politicians is if their lips are moving, they're probably lying, so you really can't trust them anyway. But thank you for the call, David. It's still a good thing to try to bird dog these guys on the campaign trail and ask them tough questions. At least that way, when they break their promises, they're at the very least on the record. If they've made a promise or if they've said a thing and taken a position on something, then at the very least you can compare that to what they actually end up doing and point out, oh, look, here's another lying politician.
I think that this is among the most interesting issues in sort of the freedom movement.
What's that, parental rights?
When does somebody get... So who has the rights first? Because there's obviously bad parents out there. No doubt there are parents out there that make really bad choices. But
there's also bad government agents out there, too. A lot of them.
No doubt. Right. But for instance, let's see, one thing I've been seeing recently is people are like, well, some people who don't vaccinate their kids, their 12-year-olds, want to go out and get vaccines, and of course it's wonderful that they be able to go get vaccines or whatever. And I don't have a problem with it. Go get a vaccine. I don't care. But if the 12-year-old can determine that they want a vaccine, can a 12-year-old determine that they don't want a vaccine?
I would think they could.
I would suspect that same person that would support a 12-year-old's right to get a vaccine would say, well, they can't come into the school then. Well, then why are you charging their parents property taxes to pay for the school?
Because they can.
Right, and that's what it comes down to is you agree with me and you're happy. You disagree with me and, whatever. Ultimately, all government is the threat of violence against you. That's what it is. It's an organization that claims the monopoly, privilege, and the use of violence to a given landmass. Ask Barack Obama. I just quoted him.
We got more on the way. Your calls and thoughts are welcome here. The live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. And yes, we have the Discord call-in lines as well over at discord.lrn.fm.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
Several years ago, I was developing a very severe situation. I called it my flippy heart. It was doing not good things, and I did not want to go to a medical doctor because I just knew they would give me a cover-up pill. I didn't want to get onto that sort of thing at all. When I learned it was garlic and cayenne, and cayenne is a healer. It is a wonderful herb. I said, I think I'm onto something here. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be without it. It did wonderful things for me.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are invited to join us right here. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And don't forget about Bitcoin.com. You want to go and learn about Bitcoin Cash, that is the place to do it. They've got a great news site which keeps you up to date with the latest in the Bitcoin universe, and also their brand new website, local.bitcoin.com, that allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash with dozens of payment methods such as PayPal, Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, cash in person, and more. Just go to local.bitcoin.com to get started there. Very low fees, but most importantly, privacy, unlike other websites that do similar things. Local.bitcoin.com allows you privacy with your trades, meaning when you're chatting with the person with whom you are selling or from whom you're buying, those chats are encrypted end to end, so the administrators of the site don't even know what you're saying unless you want to bring somebody in as like a arbitrator, essentially, give someone permission to see it.
One of the advantages of cryptocurrency is this sort of pseudo-anonymity is what they call it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty darned anonymous, not super anonymous, but if you you get some level of privacy in just owning the currency. So let's say you're in North Korea and you have access to the internet. I'm not sure everybody there does, but I could send some Bitcoin Cash to somebody in North Korea right now, and it would take, a hot couple of minutes for me to get the transaction done. That's a heck of a lot faster than a bank wire, and they'd never get a bank wire.
No doubt about it. So, again, you got privacy in your communications there, and the site itself does not hold your funds. So you're in control of your Bitcoin Cash, and therefore the site doesn't need to require any identification from you. So it's pretty sweet. Get over to local.bitcoin.com and get started there. That's local.bitcoin.com as we continue here. You want to share your thoughts with us? You can take control of the airwaves. Coming up, Mark, you said you had, actually, before we get to the story about the lady that got tied to a bed, somebody's not happy about it. We're not sure if it's her or what, but we'll get into that. But I don't know much more about the story. You got a quote from Stalin that you wanted to share?
It's a quote from FDR about Stalin.
Oh, okay.
So we were talking about Trump and Kim Jong-un. And
they may be shaking hands at the DMZ if all goes as planned.
And I support this because I support humanizing people. I support not firing missiles. I support a lot of things. And but I want to read a quote from FDR regarding Stalin, and we can see, and history will see that it's not terribly kind to FDR. So Bill, here's the quote begins. Bill, I don't dispute your facts. Bill is an advisor, a CIA guy. They are accurate. I don't dispute your logic or the logic of your reasoning. I just have a hunch that Stalin is not the kind of man. Harry Hopkins says he's not, and that he doesn't want anything but security for his country. And I think that if I give him everything I possibly can and ask for nothing in return, noblesse oblige. I don't know what that means exactly, but, hey, they spoke different back then. He won't try to annex anything and will work with me for a world of democracy and peace. So I think we're pretty clear that Stalin did not work for a world of democracy and peace, and that he did not work with FDR, and that he basically took advantage, if there was anything to take advantage, because I don't know that FDR could have given Stalin much or anything. Like, what could FDR have taken from Stalin?
That's what
I don't
was
know.
going to ask. Yeah, I don't know.
Stalin beat Hitler. The United States came in and messed with his western flank, essentially. Not much went on there. I think that the best thing that FDR could have done is just not wasted American lives on that particular war, in that particular theater of that war, and just let Stalin continue to fight it out. But we see what happens when Stalin made it to Berlin, and maybe that's why they wanted to do it, is to save that half of Europe or something. Yeah, got me, but it's not like the Swiss were trying to stop it. So anyway, that's a quote. It could turn around and backfire, right? That Trump could give Kim Jong-un a bunch of stuff, and then Kim Jong-un makes him look bad by turning on him in the end.
Yeah, we don't know. But I think that it's better for Trump to go in the direction he's going than go in the direction of his predecessors, which is to not talk at all to this person, whoever the so-called supreme leader at the moment happens to be in North Korea, to not speak in any way, shape, or form to that person, to treat them as though they are always going to be an enemy and do nothing but continue to rattle sabers at one another. It's not productive. It's not helping anybody to approach it that way. Although Singularity would like to remind you, Mark, in our Discord chat, that he says he's not sure he would exactly talk about illegally sending money to North Korea. Because, considering they are axis of evil or whatever by the U.S. government.
I said I could do it.
Right.
I can, and there's nothing the United States government could do about it.
If they knew about it, they would be not happy about it. But,
and I wouldn't be sending money to North Korea. I'd be sending money to somebody in North Korea. I don't particularly like the North Korean government. I'm not going to send anybody money.
There's still probably a sanction against that.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
But, look, if somebody's starving, I don't see a particular problem with sending them a few bucks so they can get some food.
Oh, I don't see a problem with it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. That was just a point that he made, that it might be illegal to send money to, say, North Korea or Iran. People within those political geographic distinctions.
Right.
I think you should be able to. I think you should be free to do business with and give money to whoever it is that you want to all around the world. Unfortunately, the U.S. federal government doesn't agree.
Yeah, I'm kind of sick of the whole radio thing where we say, well, I'm not an attorney, but then you proceed to say attorney things. You give it a legal opinion. And
it's not a legal opinion if you're not an attorney.
If I show up on the side of the road and there's a person, half of a person in the one ditch and half of a person in the other ditch, and I could say, oh, I'm not a doctor, but he looks dead, right? I'm just an idiot for throwing that little piece in there. Your mileage may vary sending money to North Korea. I've never done it, and I don't necessarily recommend it, but the technology allows you to do it.
That's true. Nobody can stop Bitcoin payment from going to where it's intended to go.
Right.
Thank goodness.
And presuming that the person's in North Korea that you're talking to. Maybe you're just talking to some Nigerian prince.
You may be.
You never know.
Let's continue here. Dennis is on the line, listening in Myrtle Beach to WRNN. Hello, Dennis.
Hi, am I talking to Mark?
Well, you're talking to Mark and Ian.
Mark's in the studio, so is Ian. Go ahead.
Oh, no. What's your name, sir? I need to write it down.
There's two of us here. There's Mark over there and Ian over here, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Okay, Ian, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And you're Dennis.
I'm 77
now that
years
we've got
old,
all that straight.
Remember.
What were you calling about, Dennis?
All right. I had a question. I don't know how much of the Democratic debate you watched last night.
None.
But, I had a question about your feelings about when the narrator, or whatever you call him,
moderator,
asked the constituents or the presidents to be that were on the podium if they were in favor of decriminalizing anybody coming across the border, and also right, they automatically get free medical.
Yep.
And
You did see this, Mark?
Blah, 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 free schooling and everything on down the line. I was wondering what your thoughts were on that.
I did not see the whole of the Democratic debate. I've been lied to enough of my life. But I did see the little bit where they say that, all the candidates raise their hand. Who wants to give free everything to illegal immigrants, essentially? And
why would anyone who's a politician say no, right? Like
Right.
they can promise whatever they want to.
And to a person, they held their hands up.
Of course,
is that right?
Did.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, they did.
What I would say is that I'm for free people being able to cross the borders of free countries freely. That no one should get free things, but least of all people who, people believe in this citizenship thing still. So, all right, let's live in the world that we live in. I think that it's just the government claiming dominion over you, but fine. Let's put my feelings aside. So certainly a non-citizen shouldn't be able to, show up on our doorsteps and demand free everything for their lives. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But you want to come here, you want to build a business, you want to make a life better, you want to work for less than minimum wage, I don't have any particular problems with any of those things. I mean, already they're working for less than minimum wage, and they end up being, basically being serfs for these big agri companies because they can't leave, otherwise their boss will turn them into INS.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where would you draw the line? We've got a huge border in Canada and down south.
Yep.
Are you just going to basically where you can just walk across the border without being checked to see whether or not you're maybe a terrorist or something?
Sounds good to me.
I
think that probably governments are going to want to check you in some manner or another.
Yeah, but he asked you where would you draw the line? Right. So hold on, Dennis. We'll bring you back. We can talk about this. Important questions. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's the number that allows you to take control of the airwaves, just like Dennis did. We hadn't talked about borders, but he brought it up, and we're happy to go there. 855-450-3733. Also, you can call us on our Discord call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. Jump in, join the fun here on Free Talk Live's Live Saturday show.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,409, silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,812. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in a decision that voting rights advocates warned would open the floodgates for even more extreme and undemocratic redistricting than what is already in place throughout the nation, the Supreme Court effectively condoned partisan gerrymandering on Thursday by ruling that the practice is beyond its constitutional reach. The Mind Unleashed reports the ruling was 5-4 along party lines, with conservative Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion. Slate legal journalist Mark Joseph Stern tweeted Thursday that the High Court's ruling is the, quote, nightmare scenario for voting rights advocates, end quote. Frida Levinson, legal director at ACLU of Ohio, said the Supreme Court's ruling will allow the practice of gerrymandering to continue, to flourish, and to evade review by the judicial system, and leaves redistricting in the hands of those who will continue to abuse their awesome power whenever they can to defeat the will of the voters. In a scathing dissent, liberal Justice Alina Kagan accused the High Court's 5 conservative judges of abdicating their constitutional duties, quote, just when the courts across the country, including those below, have coalesced around manageable judicial standards to resolve partisan gerrymandering claims, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Twitter, on Thursday, announced it would suppress President Trump's tweets going into the 2020 election by downranking those which violate their rules via algorithms. Offensive material from the President of the United States will also receive a label that applies to all verified political candidates and government officials with over 100,000 followers. According to the Washington Post, before users can view the language in newly flagged tweets, they will need to click on a screen that says the Twitter rules about abusive behavior apply to this tweet. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain available. The Mind Unleashed reports Twitter will deprioritize the labeled tweets so they would be seen by fewer people, which adds that the policy will go into effect immediately and will not apply to other influencers and leaders. It's also not retroactive. A Brazilian Air Force pilot, who was one of the crew members on their way to serve as the advance guard for Brazil President Bolsonaro during the forthcoming G20 summit in Osaka, was arrested during a stopover in Seville en route to Japan, after Spanish customs officers discovered enough cocaine on him to fuel a small Wall Street bank's party for a month, in what has become an international embarrassment for Bolsonaro, who is known as Brazil's Trump and also the country's self-professed law and order president. The Mind Unleashed reports the 38-year-old airman appeared in court Wednesday on charges of drug trafficking after Spanish officials discovered 37 packets of cocaine weighing a total of 39 kilos in baggage. Officers from Spain's Guardia Civil took the crew member into custody, and a police spokesman in Seville said the whole bag was filled with drugs. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
As of today, the average cost of a pack of cigarettes has gone up to 2 hand jobs and a stick of beef jerky. For more, we go now to Onion News Network prison economics expert Hal Rogan.
The prison economy runs on cigarettes. They're involved in every economic transaction at some stage, from contract killings to naked woman picture acquisition.
Right.
That's why we've got shampoo at 6 batteries. We've got tattoos at 50 commissary stamps.
Now, for what it's really like out there in the market, let's check in with major cigarette trader Big Dap Ramirez. Big Dap, nice to see you again.
Thanks, Rick. Good to see you. What's happening, Hal?
How's it going, Big Dap?
Now, it's obviously a boom time for cigarettes right now.
I'm getting a lot of
But
hand
with
jobs.
prices this high, analysis shows you're going to be seeing a drop-off in real sales soon as consumers turn to smoking grass Fajos.
Look, we've been through this before. The market teaches us not to panic. But if I learn anything in this game, it's that a wife or girlfriend will pass off a few decks in the boneyard. Supply will normalize, and we'll see cigarettes returning to a single hand job or less.
Big Dap, best of luck to you. We'll keep checking in on the story with Hal throughout the day.
Thanks, Rick.
Moving on to some happier news. In Atlanta today, 2 snitches were beaten to death.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Yet another newspaper shutting down after 150 years in business. We can tell you which one it's going to be on the way here. Plus, Mark, you had a story about some lady that got tied up to a bed, I guess, and we'll see why you want to talk about that coming up here in moments. But first, we go back to the phones. Back to that was painful. Back to your calls and thoughts here. Dennis is on the line with us, listening to WRNN. Dennis, you'd called in about, asking sort of our position regarding these Democrats who apparently had a debate recently where they all agreed that there should be a bunch of free stuff given away to everybody, including immigrants and everybody. And of course, Mark, you pointed out that generally here we disagree with any kind of government forced wealth redistribution in the form of welfare or whatever you want to call it, that whether it benefits immigrants or people who are born on this plot of earth, I'm against it. I think that people who need help should be helped on a voluntary basis, should be helped on a consenting basis by people who wish to assist. And so, Dennis, that partially, I think, answered your question, but I felt like there was more that you had to say about it, so go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have kind of like 3 quick questions. I don't want to take up a lot of your time.
That's all right.
I agree with most everything you guys say, and thank you for taking my call. But in order to, you would agree then that we should have port of entries where people that want to immigrate to this country, that they should go to these port of entries.
I do not agree with that.
In other words, you don't agree with that?
No, because to me that's not freedom. If you have to ask some bureaucrat permission to do something, you're not a free person, are you?
Okay. Can I ask you another question?
Hold on. Let me answer the question. I would say that the port of entries are a good idea because people need IDs to operate in this world. Like the current world we have, if we're talking about simply immigration, that you need some kind of identification. And the governments, you need to find a government in order to issue you a piece of identification because the liquor store isn't going to take your library card. Okay? So, yes, I think that these ports of entry would be a good idea, and you have a few of these around so that these immigrants, when they want to come in the United States, they come, they get their little blue card. Instead of a green card, they get a blue card, and then they can go to work. I imagine at these port of entries there will also be big agribusinesses that are looking for cheap labor and a variety of other types of businesses that are picking these guys up and sending them off to places where they don't need to speak English to do a particular job, relatively low, what do they call that? Manual labor, some kind of manual labor.
And you don't need to have an ID, Mark, to get work. I mean, you don't have to have an ID to go out. I'm
not claiming you should have to have an ID.
Pull some fruit out of the,
Maybe not. That's
pasture.
Fine by me. I'm just saying that if anybody wants to do something else, you're going to need an ID.
Well, I mean, if somebody wants to go get an ID, they should be able to go get an ID, but that has nothing to do with having a port of entry or whatever. Like, why shouldn't people just be able to show up wherever it is they want to show up as long as they're invited to be there?
No, can I jump in here?
Yeah, please.
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay, we got hundreds of, if not thousands of miles on our southern border, let alone our Canadian border. Mm-hmm. And if I think last I heard it was 3,000 people a day coming across the border. And the present laws, and I know you guys don't agree with these present laws, and I don't either, but these worthless politicians we got in here. But if you pour across the border, say somewhere around sand, or anywhere, and say 3,000, you pour across the border, and you get stopped by our border guards, they are not allowed presently to throw you back over the fence. They have to hold you somewhere, and they're only allowed to hold you for a little period of time, and then they got to turn you loose, and then they never show up for their court appearance.
Well, as I understand it, what they have to do is
how do we control that?
They get this script, right? The script says, I am a refugee from X country. I am facing violence or whatever, right? So they rattle off this script. Now, the script exists because the United States has signed on to international treaties and these sorts of things. Now, I didn't sign these treaties, and I don't feel that obligates, those treaties obligate me to do anything. But the United States signed on to these treaties, and that's the difficult situation that they are now in. Now, they can try to prevent people from coming in, and if people don't say the right series of words, which apparently everybody knows now, then they can be, kicked out relatively quickly. But when they know the right series of words, now they have to be treated as a refugee until it's proven that they are not a refugee. And the status as a refugee is different than the status as an immigrant or whatever, and nobody wants to be the one and everybody wants to be the other. So this is a legal conundrum that the government has put itself in.
Well, I mean, again, all this seems to be just a huge waste of time. And it just seems to be a huge waste of time and effort. What should happen is if somebody's trying to cross the border, they should just cross the border and go to wherever it is they're going to. They shouldn't have some bureaucrat with a gun or not with a gun standing in their way, demanding a bunch of paperwork, demanding a bunch of magic words, fines and fees and hoop jumping.
I agree with you with the bureaucrat, but don't forget the Democrat there trying to sign him up to vote, and the people trying to
abolish the whole system.
Give him a bunch of free stuff.
Right. Again, the problem is with the system. The problem is with the government. The welfare is a huge problem. It's
we
a
have
problem
a welfare
even without
problem in this country.
It's a problem even without immigrants. Okay.
Yep.
Even without immigrants, you still have unfunded liabilities with Social Security. You still are going to have a situation where they're going to either have to raise the retirement age, cut back the benefits, or some combination of both in order to keep this thing floating down the river, or at least looking like it's not taking on water or whatever. They're going to have to do something within the next however many years. And then there's all these unfunded veterans benefits that's got to get paid out, and there's just all kinds of trillions of dollars sitting out there that needs to get. It's going to come home to roost at some point, and they're going to stick you with the bill.
Right, but they're saying, the Democrats said last night that if you go across the border, they're in favor of it not being illegal anymore. That you're legally, once you come across the border, you're legally here, but we have to pay your health. We got to give you
right. Would you be all right, though, like if, let's say, you didn't have to pay for health care and all these other welfare programs? Would it be all right if people just kind of came here and made a better life for themselves?
I have no problem with that.
That's beautiful.
But we can't
so we
afford
agree.
It, Mark. This is Mark.
That was Ian.
Mark, we already got millions of people that don't have health insurance that live in this country, let alone the thousands a day that come in here. And the money isn't there. How are we going to pay for this?
No, I don't think you can pay for it. And I don't think you should have to pay for it, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But the Republicans have put themselves in the position where they're like trying to stop this natural flow of humans. You've pointed out that there's thousands of miles of border and that it can't possibly be watched.
Oh, but Mark, they could have a total police state, though. They could put up a huge
You could
wall,
make the country miserable enough that nobody wants to come.
Checkpoints, men with guns all over the place, demanding papers, searching cars, searching houses. I mean, they could really make a serious crackdown effort, which would completely inconvenience everyone and every business.
I'd just leave. I don't want to live in a country where they're checking my house and checking my car in case I've got some illegal immigrant.
Well, clearly you don't love freedom.
Right, that's not freedom, and Americans don't even know what freedom is anymore.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Dennis, for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Appreciate the thoughts. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE.
But as I was saying, Republicans have put themselves in the difficult position as being, the bad guy here. If Republicans welcomed immigrants and just stood against
welfare,
the welfare problem, then we wouldn't be in a situation where every immigrant is wanting to vote Democrat.
It seems like Republicans believe in welfare.
Well,
I mean, if they're not opposing it, then they must support it, right?
You mean the Republican politicians?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Those are the ones that matter.
It's
right?
hard to look good when it comes to those sorts of things, but I mean, I think that
I disagree. I think it does look good if you tell people, hey, you ought to be able to keep the money you earn.
I agree with you.
You ought to be able to not only keep the money you earn, you should be able to decide what to do with it. You should be able to decide where to spend it.
Maybe give it to a charity for immigrants who've come here and want to work hard. I have no idea.
To decide who to give it away to. You should be able to decide whether or not you want to save it and how much of it. It should be up to you. I think that sounds great.
You greedy conservative.
Absolutely not conservative. I'm a liberty-minded person. I care about freedom. 855-450, free like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Are you dealing with overwhelming credit card debt? Then it's time to get rid of it. With a mortgage refinance from American Financing, you'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, so there's no pressure and no commission. No upfront fees either. I recommend American Financing because they continue to help customers save $1,000 or more each month without resetting their loan term. You may even be able to postpone up to 2 months of mortgage payments, creating an even greater upfront savings. Not a homeowner yet? Mortgage rates have been falling for the last few months, making it a great time to buy. Get started now by calling 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or try their new digital mortgage at AmericanFinancing.net. You can download an instant qualified letter, and you can complete the entire mortgage process online anytime, anywhere. 888-804-0303 or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up whatever you want here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Just go to freetalklive.com, where we've got a lot of features. And you can download episodes of the show that go back for more than a decade. You can also watch us on our webcam providers, which are free. There's just so much for free, and those other talk show hosts, they want to charge you for their sites. So go and enjoy it free over at freetalklive.com.
Are you a business owner? Do you have a product or service to sell? Are you tired of spending money on digital or print ads that may or may not be seen by your best prospects? How would you like to reach our listening audience, and how much better would it be if you could guarantee that your ad would get in front of the eyes and in the hands of your prospect? Free Talk Live has a new advertising platform that combines digital and print advertising, which can be combined with radio advertising. And how many more sales would you make if you could get your ad directly in the hands of your targeted prospects? You can reach the Liberty audience right now with this new revolutionary advertising and direct market program. Learn more and get an incredible response to your advertising with this program. It's as easy as 123. Simply visit 123.freetalklive.com. It's 123.freetalklive.com. And I think that this is an amazing advertising opportunity. I can't tell you more on the radio. That's the agreement with the platform, but I think it's amazing. 123.freetalklive.com.
It's good that you told me I couldn't talk about it because I haven't said anything about what it is yet. So thanks for letting me know.
Yep.
Let's go to your phone calls and
it's
thoughts.
all right there at 123.freetalklive.com, though. It's not that big of a mystery.
Okay, very good. Let's go to Keith in Myrtle Beach listening to WRNN. Go ahead, Keith.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Well, I was just flipping through the channels on my radio, and I want to make sure that I wasn't misconstruing what you guys were saying, because I just caught a little snippet of it and decided to call in. So you guys were talking about basically, sounded like you wanted just like open borders almost, like anybody should just be able to, walk across at their own leisure whenever they want.
Yeah, isn't that like freedom? Like
the economists at openborders.org say that there would be a one-time doubling of the world's GDP.
The world's GDP?
The world's GDP if they eliminated all borders. So, I mean, there's a lot of poor countries near richer countries and things like that. The United States would see a benefit, but it wouldn't be a doubling of the U.S.
All
GDP.
Right. Well, any border security, what's to stop an adversary from just waltzing across the border?
An adversary?
Yeah, it's their nation's military from waltzing across the border in the middle of the night and just invading.
I think that's important. That's an important question.
Yeah.
So first off, I would put every U.S. soldier on something that smokes and return them to the United States. There's no reason for the United States to be in 800 to 1,000 military bases around the world. The United States military basically occupies the globe. And that's a job for those countries' militaries and for them to handle, not for the United States to handle. And for American lives.
Marine Corps vet.
What's that?
Hello?
I get it. But
I'm not sure what you're doing there. Are you like talking to somebody, or we're not hearing you real clear? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Okay. I was saying, yeah, I understand. That's a good point you make. We shouldn't be in all these wars. I'm a Marine Corps vet. I was in Iraq. I don't really agree with why we were there, but I had a job to do, so I did it. But anyways, and also what you're saying about open border, I mean, that kind of goes against the whole definition of sovereignty.
I don't think it does. Do you think that countries in the past have been sovereign? because borders have basically been porous until relatively recently. The first passports were issued in World War I by basically the Germans to make sure that folks are not passing. They must have their peppers. So
right, there's been sovereign nations before World War I.
Right.
Like way before World War I.
Right. Agreed. Sovereignty existed.
But they didn't need to have insane border checks and patrols and all that.
Now, a sovereign nation certainly isn't going to let a uniformed military organization just pass through their land without some kind of
right. Okay. Well, what's to stop insurgency then? Because that's a real threat. I mean,
what insurgency has been stopped by the Border Patrol? Because they didn't stop the 9/11 attacks.
No, they didn't. But all right, if after 9/11, security was ramped up considerably in the airports and on all of our nation's borders.
Was it though?
Well, hold on, Ian.
Yeah,
what I think that it would
sure
be,
it just doesn't look like it has.
Security has been ramped up, and I think that's the problem. The problem is that I'm less free now than I was before.
You're less free, but you're also not any more secure. I'm sorry. The TSA can't even find its own bombs.
The TSA has never stopped anything.
I agree that the liberals are attacking our Bill of Rights every
so are the conservatives. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's not like freedom. It's not like
some
freedom
of
is
them
on
are
the
guilty of that,
increase when
too.
the Republicans are in charge. It's not like the government gets smaller when the Republicans are in charge, does it?
But typically, conservatives are for less government. And
if you talk to the
people on the far
individual
left are for
conservatives,
much more.
I think you would get them to say that individually, but the politicians don't necessarily follow that trend.
That's true, but I wish we had better politicians myself. But
Same here.
I mean, I just
Good
don't.
luck.
I just don't.
All I
Yeah,
can do is
right,
talk
good
about
luck.
policy. And I think the policy is that if the United States was less aggressive, especially inside the Middle East, you'd have fewer people that want to come over here and blow things up. They haven't blown anything up in Switzerland that I know of. And it's because, well,
they're neutral.
Switzerland's not over there fighting wars in the Middle East. And if you listen to what Osama
Switzerland
bin
also
Laden
has
said.
a very strict immigration policy. Very strict.
Not
So does
particularly.
Canada.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, they do.
Well, there's a lot of Middle Eastern immigrants inside of Europe, and as I understand, Switzerland's dealing with Pakistanis right now. I just heard something on the radio from, about that recently. So I don't know the specifics.
Well,
in
we
Switzerland,
don't want to be
but
just
what
like
I'm saying
Switzerland.
is that look, either you believe one of two things about those folks in the Middle East. Either they hate us for our freedoms, and they hate Britney Spears and Coca-Cola, and that's possible, or
some of them do.
They're just, and some of them do. Some of them do. And you know what? If they come over here, I trust the 300 million Americans with the 600 million guns to shoot them center of mass. Because I believe that every American should be able to carry a gun without asking the government for permission. However, all I'd say is that those insurgents are going to have far less of a reason to have an insurgency if the United States isn't over messing in their business. And all we're over here doing is drinking Coke and dancing like Britney Spears.
Okay, well, now what about the drug problem then? Okay, human trafficking.
The problem there is a war on drugs. That's where your problem comes from. As long as the war on drugs continues, you're going to continue seeing criminal organizations, gangs that are going to have billions of dollars funneled into them because they're willing to violate the law in order to sell those drugs.
And one more important point: let's not forget
human trafficking.
This country was built by good men and women who had legal access to opiates. Whether we like it or not, you have to acknowledge that they sold heroin in the Sears catalog, and somehow we did not deteriorate into a cesspool of sin and degradation in the process. Maybe free people can handle deciding when they should do opiates and when they shouldn't, just like they decide when they should do alcohol and when they shouldn't.
Right.
And some people will be lost in the process because freedom has consequences.
Keith, I'll address the human trafficking question. Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. Human trafficking, the short version, the reason why that exists is because humans are prohibited, meaning that it's illegal to cross the border, so therefore you need to hire somebody if you want to increase your chances, get a coyote to take you across the border. Now, if we're talking about sex slavery, that's a whole different story, and that requires a discussion about the prohibition on prostitution as well. So prohibitions usually result in some really nasty, unintended consequences, but predictable consequences. We're on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog. for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We're here on the live Saturday edition of the show. As always, you're invited to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, tell me about My Magic Mud.
If you listen to nothing else I say here on the air, and I understand if you don't, listen to this. I love My Magic Mud. My Magic Mud is a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. And that may sound weird, and it may sound disgusting. And if it does, read the ingredients on your toothpaste and tell me if you can pronounce any of that stuff. Because I can pronounce the stuff that's in My Magic Mud. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth. I've used it for going on a decade now. When I first used it, I used it for 4 days in a row. And after the first brushing, I could see some of the stain coming off. You do it for 2 minutes. And then, the next brushing the next day and the next one the next day. So 8 total minutes over the course of 4 days. And it whitened my teeth. It just took all the stains off of them. Now, and I use it now about once a week, maybe once every 4 days to once a week, just depending when I think about it. And I'm sure that it cleans my teeth better than regular toothpaste does. I can just feel it. I know it. They can't say that because it's not science or whatever, so I can't say it as part of the ad, but I can tell you my personal experience, and my personal experience is that's absolutely true. Now, you can get My Magic Mud at most major health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle. You can enjoy this wonderful product in that manner that was created by Jessica Armand to help her family and then just sort of took off from there. But if you go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20, you can save 20% off of a jar of My Magic Mud. They got lots of other products there. They're all great. I've used them all. mymagicmud.com, coupon code FTL20. There's one product I haven't used. I haven't used their charcoal floss yet, but I am looking forward to getting that here shortly. mymagicmud.com, coupon code FTL20 for 20% off.
All right, let's continue with your calls and thoughts. Greg, listening to Texarkana. Oh, he just dropped off the line. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We go to Tom, listening in Hudson, New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
It's about the two different styles, we might say, by which you might just lose everything and get totally wiped out because of some action of the bureaucrats. Okay, two different things. Generally, the government either increases the amount of liberty and justice or decreases it. Now,
well, the government has almost never increased the amount of liberty. I mean, that's almost unprecedented that's ever happened.
The notion that if they prevent crime, like they have a police force that's somehow funded voluntary that prevents crime, then it would be increasing freedom in that way.
But now, you said funded voluntarily, which we don't have that.
Let's say you're investing, you run a liquor store, you buy a liquor store, and you mortgage your house so you can buy not just this business, but this business has one of those limited issue licenses. Right. And you spend a ton of money because they have a limited issue license, and you're doing a good job, and you're making a profit, and the government is protecting you using gun-toting goons in bulletproof vests to prevent people from opening a liquor store next door to you. But then, with the stroke of a pen, it becomes a dry county. And now you just lost everything because they don't take your building, mind you, but you still have the building, but you can no longer
you're out of business
there, and you lose your house, and everything gets wiped out because the government commits an act of tyranny. And the other way is when you're investing heavily in a business like that, and all of a sudden they come along and say, look, instead of limiting the number of licenses, we're just going to say, okay, anybody go on down to county courthouse and pay $10 and you can have a liquor license. And somebody can open a liquor store right next door to you, and you can get driven out of business because it becomes a freer country. Okay, that can happen.
That's true. That's basically what happened in New York City when it came to the taxi medallions. They issued.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, they issued the taxi medallions to the point that they were worth like $1 million, and people would buy them as investments. They're not taxi cab companies buying them; they're just people buying them. And then along comes Uber, and they can't give these things away.
Now, let me point out that when this happens, okay, it becomes a freer country. All of a sudden, there's a greater degree of liberty, and the person who's mortgaged their house so they could buy the liquor store get wiped out. They still have that license on the wall, but it's just anybody can get one, and so it becomes a freer country. When that happens, or when the zoning restrictions get abolished, and now all of a sudden these landlords who are heavily mortgaged on their apartment houses, figuring that they can make all this money in rent, and now they have to scramble to find tenants to move in for half of the rent because there's a free market in housing, instead of families competing with each other, trying to outbid each other for a artificially limited supply of housing. Okay, some people will lose everything. In fact, a credit union in New York City was specializing in lending against taxi medallions. They folded and had to get bailed out by the federal government under the federal insurance. But what I'm getting at here is libertarians can compare these losses to when so many slaves were emancipated in the 1860s. Okay, hey, tough luck. You know, I mean, you lose everything because the slaves get emancipated. The United it makes a better country.
Absolutely. The more freedom, the better off everybody is. And you're right. Even in a free country, which we don't have and we haven't had, but even in a free country, people are still going to lose because they're going to make mistakes in the marketplace. They're going to misjudge what the market is demanding. They're going to offer a product or service that just wasn't quite popular enough or just didn't meet enough people's satisfaction to where they lose their investment and they go under. And it's actually a good thing. And thank you for the call, Tom. A lot of issues that he touched on there.
Right. But the government does this all the time. They break your leg, hand you a crutch, and then demand your thanks.
Yeah. So if you have the freedom to fail, that's a good thing because you don't want the government propping up businesses like big banks or whoever, automotive manufacturers or whatever, because it keeps in business people who should have gone out of business, who the market was saying, hey, you guys aren't going to change with the times, your product sucks, or your service is terrible, or whatever the issues were.
Business model, whatever.
Your business model, it's antiquated, you haven't bothered to change, so we're putting you out of business by not doing business with you anymore. And then you get the government coming in with a bailout and then trying to keep these people alive. That doesn't allow for the innovators, for the upstarts to come in and buy up the equipment at a fraction of the value at some sort of an auction, right, to the highest bidder. That never happens. The people aren't able.
If the marketplace doesn't get disrupted, it stays the same. If it stays the same, then you basically have feudalism. Things stayed the same in Europe for 1,000 years or close to it. Obviously there's medieval historians there that are just pulling their beards out at this moment. But, there was less innovation in medieval Europe than there is today. And, this is, if you want less innovation, then by all means let the government handle that stuff. They're excellent. The term Byzantine was created for the Byzantine government.
Right. If you want things to stay the same, then you're not going to see much progress. You're not going to see job growth, right? Because if you've got so many regulations in place that people aren't able to create new businesses, then no new jobs get created in that case.
Sears didn't want to see innovation in the retail space, but they got it. And
whether they liked it or not,
are we better off? I think we are.
The customer absolutely is better off. Sears, on the other hand, is struggling to stay afloat.
Yeah, they're at this point, they've basically rebranded their stores, and they're barely around.
It's a desperate last minute. I mean, they're bankrupt basically. They ended up getting bought, I think, by I think it was like their CEO who came in with an offer or something like that. It was like some guy who was connected with Sears and had a bunch of money. And it's interesting watching these old businesses, these old business models try so hard to stay relevant, to thrash in the tar pits.
Plenty of them do. It's just the ones that fail that make news. So,
Yeah, well, there was a story recently about how like every single clothing store in the malls of America has lost tremendous revenue over the last year or so.
Disney owns everything.
In malls?
No, Disney owns all their, Disney's huge and they're doing just fine. There's old businesses that do just fine.
Right. 855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Hey everyone, Proactive MD has an incredible offer for our radio listeners only. Stay tuned for our exclusive offer that includes a free charcoal pore cleansing brush and free shipping. Proactive MD with prescription strength adapalene can heal and prevent future breakouts. Today, for just $19.95, we're offering listeners the 3-piece Proactive MD system with free shipping, plus a free gift, the new charcoal pore cleansing brush. Get this exclusive offer by calling now, 1-800-583-8662, or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. You heard right. Proactive MD plus free shipping and a free gift. The new charcoal pore cleansing brush. You'll get all this for just $19.95 and their 60-day money-back guarantee. You're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you get your money back. Call now. 1-800-583-8662. That's 1-800-583-8662. Or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. Again, go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
And in a surprise announcement this morning, U.S. Deputy Surgeon General Greg Paulson stated that, quote, "It's fine to smoke cigarettes if you only smoke while drinking." The Deputy Surgeon General has called a press conference to discuss the shocking findings, which began just moments ago. Let's go live to that now.
Was there a particular study this report was based on?
Look, that determination was made after considering that someone who only smokes when at bars or parties ends up smoking maybe 15 cigarettes a month, while regular smokers are smoking 150 to 200 cigarettes each week. So we feel that it's just obvious that as long as you don't actually buy the cigarettes and you only smoke them while consuming the alcohol, then the risks of getting lung cancer are basically mostly negligible. Just common sense.
This announcement comes on the heels of the Surgeon General's last announcement that drinking and driving is fine if you ate a lot that day or if it's a route you take all the time sober. Moving on, the Japanese Space Agency has announced plans to put a schoolgirl on the moon by 2015.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at MyMagicMud.com. FTL20, MyMagicMud.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. Our number, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. We were talking about disruption and innovation in industries and how established industries with political connections push back against those things and demand, for instance, as we've seen with the pushback against Uber and Lyft and the other ride-sharing companies by the old taxi cab organizations. They're not happy about having an upstart come in that's technologically superior to them and basically eating their lunch, making them look bad. Making them look slow, making them look inefficient, making them look old and rickety.
And expensive.
Yeah, and
Let's not forget expensive.
Yeah, like all the worst of the possible options.
Governments basically set the pricing for taxi cab companies. Taxi cab companies will go to the governments and lobby for an increase or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, hey, this is important because people could get ripped off or whatever. And they had this whole sweetheart deal, and then ultimately Uber comes along and says, hey, we can do this less costly. Now, Uber hasn't made a profit, I'll remind you. But then again, Amazon doesn't make much of a profit either. And
really? After all these years?
I don't know exactly. I'd have to look. But I said that doesn't make much.
Well, he seems to be doing pretty well for himself, the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos.
Right. Well, there's always that.
I mean, he's a billionaire, multi-billionaire?
I'm sure the
like
guy who founded Uber is doing pretty good, too.
Maybe. I mean, certainly the CEOs get paid, even though the company itself isn't profitable.
Sure. Well, one of the tricks is to not be profitable and to make money.
So I wanted to talk a little bit more about this, and I'd mentioned that it is interesting to watch the old businesses and them failing, and then you did point out, Mark, that you brought up Disney at the end of the segment, saying they're doing fine. Disney's an old company; they've been around for not quite 100 years yet, but it seems like quite a long time. What, 80 years? They're
buying everything up.
Yeah, and they own a lot of stuff. Why aren't they having this, the same difficult time of the taxi cab companies and the newspapers of the world? And maybe their business model hasn't been really disrupted in a significant manner yet.
China's
right?
trying to disrupt it by printing all kinds of intellectual property violations and doing those kind of things. But Disney's basically the head mouse when it comes to intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the laws that we have today exist almost entirely because Disney has inserted itself, bought some politicians, inserted itself, and got this stuff through.
So with Disney, I mean, certainly the entertainment business has been changed, right? Like the way that people are delivered their entertainment now is different than it was in the past, meaning that now somebody's more likely to probably watch a Netflix, than they are to go to some sort of video store. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, here's what I want to know is how are they going to come around and screw us again on the next movie? I don't know how many times
Who's going to screw you again? How?
Okay, how many movies have I bought throughout my life on VHS?
Oh, changing formats.
DVD, Blu-ray, now on Amazon or Netflix or whatever. What's the next way that I have to buy the same movie over and over again? I don't know how many times I've owned Fight Club. I really don't. And why is it that
you've spent hundreds of dollars owning Fight Club, right?
Why is it that I have to keep buying this thing over and over again if it's the intellectual property that I'm supposedly buying each time?
You don't have to.
Well, what do you mean?
Stop anytime.
How so?
Well, you could just say, I've had it with upgrading, and I'm going to not buy anything past this DVD or whatever the last thing was that you bought of Fight Club.
If I watched something off of a VCR on my new TV, it would look so awful.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. It would look terrible. So to some extent, you do have to keep up with the Joneses, I guess.
Blu-ray's gone. Long live Ultra HD or whatever the hell they're calling it now.
Blu-ray seems to be still out there.
There's still regular DVD too, but there's a new thing out, this 4K.
Okay, I don't know what format that is. Is it a disc format?
No, it comes on. You can now pay more to buy it through Amazon.
Oh, right, streaming, high resolution streaming. Yeah.
But of course you have to have the downstream in order to get it.
Right.
Out in the woods where I live.
Buffering.
Most of the time I'm just looking at blobs anyway, moving around.
So if you want to comment, you're welcome to. Our number is 855-450-FREE. So the distribution has changed. Video stores are going out of business left and right, but that doesn't necessarily affect Disney, right? Like, they changed the format again, no problem. We'll,
it's great for them. I think that they're in on it.
Move to this new format. From what I understand, Disney did launch or is launching. I don't follow it closely, but I heard that they're going to launch their Netflix competitor,
Disney Plus, I think.
Whatever. Yeah, they're going to pull all their stuff out of the streaming services.
I'm a Marvel fan. Marvel was relatively recently sold to Disney, and if I'm
going to buy this,
I'm already in. If there was a way to buy now, I'd just put my money down.
Weren't you just complaining about this 2 seconds ago?
What do you mean?
The constant upgrading?
I got to do it.
Okay, so I see. You got to, huh?
I have to do it.
Okay. Hey, at some point, I had a collection of laser discs. I had some DVDs, and the amount of these things that I will buy as the upgrades continue over time gets smaller and smaller. It's like, well, I really don't want to have that again. It was good for a while, but I never really watch these things when I have them on DVD. I just sort of collect them, and it just doesn't do me any good whatsoever to have them at all, just because they just sit on a shelf and gather dust.
Right.
I watch like 3 movies a year on my DVD player at this point.
And if you wanted to watch a movie, you could always go through the Pirate Bay.
You could rent it as well if you wanted, from Netflix or something like that.
Right. Well, when it comes to Marvel movies, it's better. It's financially a better idea for me to buy them.
I gotcha. Well, then don't complain about it then, okay? Just enjoy
I just want to stop buying them.
Just enjoy your Ultra HD, then enjoy the
Fight
8K after that, and then whatever, full resolution, human vision, whatever comes after that. Because at some point, you're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Pretty soon, Edward Norton's going to walk through the screen and punch me in the face.
Let's go to your calls here and talk to Nathan. He's in Lynchburg, listening to WLNI FM. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, man.
Hey.
You guys brought up Disney, man. They're a beast, man. They're like the Antichrist that's coming on the scene. They're going to eat and consume Netflix, Hulu, all these.
Really?
They're going to destroy them.
You think Disney's going to put Netflix out of business?
There was a lot of people who invested in Disney before this is going to. Yeah, Disney, when they come out with their whatever it is,
Plus.
their Netflix version of whatever they're doing, they're going to destroy all the competition.
You
man.
think they're going to be able to acquire the things that are on Netflix as exclusives? Because that's going to be a big, that's a tough sell.
Besides Stranger Things on Netflix, there's been like maybe one or two more series that I could add on to a list of things that I might miss. But honestly, some of the shows, some of the series that have been done on Netflix they've been done.
Okay,
You know
well,
what I mean?
I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. I didn't mean to suggest I was only talking about the Netflix properties, the Netflix so-called intellectual property. I meant when Netflix has, whatever television show from ABC or Fox or, whatever movie from Paramount Pictures or whatever. It doesn't matter which ones we're talking about, but other companies' products. They usually enter in some kind of a licensing agreement that gives them the probably non-exclusive or maybe the exclusive right to distribute those rental versions of those movies and TV shows. Are you saying you think Disney is going to successfully be able to undo those deals and essentially take all of the business away from Netflix? That seems pretty optimistic.
I think Disney's a beast. I don't think there's anything stopping Disney.
Let me give you a pathway for it, Ian, because I think they might.
Really?
Here's how they do it. Disney currently owns Star Wars and Marvel. They have two of the biggest franchise to ever exist.
What else do you need, honestly? What else do you need?
Right. Well, there you go.
Right there.
And once you say...
For every guy out there, honestly, Marvel, when Marvel when they start taking their movies away from Netflix,
That's right.
Marvel movies, that's when I knew something was up. Then I heard about all my friends investing a lot of money into Disney because it's the hot thing right now that's going on. And wait till it accrues. They'll be making money. I believe it, man. Disney's a beast. You ain't stopping Disney.
All right. Nathan, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you.
Right.
I hope he's wrong.
As he says, Disney says to Amazon and Netflix, thanks for all the business, but we're going to handle it from here. And they pull. Now, I don't know what their contracts look like. I'm just saying, you wanted a pathway for Disney to rule the world. In the entertainment world, I'm telling you that pathway. Now, for a year, they just basically they kind of eat it, right? They see what the market does. Maybe the market will beat a path to their door, and everybody buys Plus because they have to. Maybe they'll get Paramount and Columbia and whatever those other movie-making companies are out there to put their movies onto Disney's platform too, the same way that they're doing it on Netflix and Amazon. But Netflix and Amazon without Marvel and Star Wars, that's going to be pretty rough.
Could be.
I mean, at that point, everybody's watching Matrix and Lord of the Rings. I mean,
there's a lot of other things to watch out there.
There are lots of great things to watch, but what's it going to be like for your platform when you no longer have those big things? Now, you don't watch that stuff, so I don't know whether or not that
I've watched the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, but you don't.
Once or so.
Sure.
I've watched the originals more than once.
My son's watched those Star Wars movies, every single one of them, 10 times.
Well, he doesn't have anything better to do. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want, whether you want to comment on the behemoth that is Disney or whatever you want. It's Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,409, silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,812. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in a decision that voting rights advocates warned would open the floodgates for even more extreme and undemocratic redistricting than what is already in place throughout the nation, the Supreme Court effectively condoned partisan gerrymandering on Thursday by ruling that the practice is beyond its constitutional reach. The Mind Unleashed reports the ruling was 5-4 along party lines, with conservative Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion. Slate legal journalist Mark Joseph Stern tweeted Thursday that the High Court's ruling is the, quote, nightmare scenario for voting rights advocates, end quote. Frida Levinson, legal director at ACLU of Ohio, said the Supreme Court's ruling will allow the practice of gerrymandering to continue, to flourish, and to evade review by the judicial system, and leaves redistricting in the hands of those who will continue to abuse their awesome power whenever they can to defeat the will of the voters. In a scathing dissent, liberal Justice Alina Kagan accused the High Court's 5 conservative judges of abdicating their constitutional duties, quote, just when the courts across the country, including those below, have coalesced around manageable judicial standards to resolve partisan gerrymandering claims, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Twitter, on Thursday, announced it would suppress President Trump's tweets going into the 2020 election by downranking those which violate their rules via algorithms. Offensive material from the President of the United States will also receive a label that applies to all verified political candidates and government officials with over 100,000 followers. According to the Washington Post, before users can view the language in newly flagged tweets, they will need to click on a screen that says the Twitter rules about abusive behavior apply to this tweet. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain available. The Mind Unleashed reports Twitter will deprioritize the labeled tweets so they would be seen by fewer people, which adds that the policy will go into effect immediately and will not apply to other influencers and leaders. It's also not retroactive. A Brazilian Air Force pilot who was one of the crew members on their way to serve as the advance guard for Brazil President Bolsonaro during the forthcoming G20 summit in Osaka, was arrested during a stopover in Seville en route to Japan, after Spanish customs officers discovered enough cocaine on him to fuel a small Wall Street bank's party for a month, in what has become an international embarrassment for Bolsonaro, who is known as Brazil's Trump and also the country's self-professed law and order president. The Mind Unleashed reports the 38-year-old airman appeared in court Wednesday on charges of drug trafficking after Spanish officials discovered 37 packets of cocaine weighing a total of 39 kilos in baggage. Officers from Spain's Guardia Civil took the crew member into custody. And a police spokesman in Seville said the whole bag was filled with drugs. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Relationship Pro talks to your girlfriend so you don't have to.
We're joined today in our demo center by Eric and Pam, a couple that's been teetering on the edge of divorce for years.
So, Pam, you guys have been using the controller all morning. I understand it's a very good listener.
It's like talking to a fully developed person.
It's got to be a major relief not needing your husband to be your partner or a friend.
Oh, yeah.
So, Eric, it must be a tremendous relief to know that there's someone else on the other end of Pam's eye rolls.
Oh, now I can focus on my game instead of worrying about all that stuff she said there.
Will the Relationship Pro keep you two together?
I think it'll drag this thing out for another couple months.
Amazing. Now, to thank you two for coming on the show, we bought you two the new deluxe Relationship Pro Extreme.
This expanded model has two new modes. Fantasy mode, which allows you to select the age and nationality of the controller's voice.
Oh, I choose a voice like my dad's.
Okay. And a hyper-realistic mode that starts fights and then grovels pathetically when it's afraid you might get rid of it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free if you want to join us here. Our number's 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. Just go to discord.lrn.fm. You can find those there. Join the top 4 rooms, any one of those, and we will join you in there, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And tonight, it's Ian here.
And Mark.
Let's go back to your phone calls and thoughts here as we continue into our third hour. Let's talk first to Jason, listening in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to WTKG. Hello, Jason.
Hi. I was just calling to disagree with you guys about immigration.
You're welcome to.
What part?
I mean, it seems like I disagree with you on just about everything about immigration.
So you want to have a police state?
Immigrants are should get a whole bunch of welfare?
Well, what I'm saying is, like, you guys seem like you want open borders, and that is really crazy. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Have you guys ever listened to this libertarian guy on YouTube and BitChute named Stefan Molyneux?
He's not really that libertarian anymore. He's kind of taken an alt-right turn, from what I understand. But yes, we've actually had Stefan Molyneux on our show many years ago.
Okay, well, you guys should maybe have him on and argue about immigration, because on his show he talks about how the Latino immigrants overwhelmingly vote Democrat, and he says it, and the polling data says that it's because they want bigger government, not because they want more immigration. So the reason that they're Democrats, it has nothing to do with, like, it's because, like, they want jobs and, like, economic policies of the Democrats. They want bigger government, they want gun control, they want stuff like that. It's not because of Trump's immigration policies or something.
Well, I wouldn't think it was because of Trump's immigration policies. The Republicans did very well prior to 9/11. George Bush was elected in Texas, and people of Mexican descent in Texas voted overwhelmingly for George Bush. They also voted for him not just governor, but for president too. Now, admittedly, there's a difference between Mexicans in Texas and Mexicans in California. They're a different breed entirely. But to say that the Republicans can't reach out to Mexicans is pretty myopic and and short-sighted. Let's not forget that the Cubans vote Republican, or at least did when I was back in Florida, quite a bit. The Republicans can reach out to Hispanics, and if they weren't, if it wasn't viewed that the Republicans hate us, then I think they would probably do better.
Well, yeah,
You're ignoring the polling data I just mentioned, though.
Well, what I'm telling you is older polling data. You said that it doesn't have anything to do with the Trump, situation. And I agree with you. Trump isn't the thing that started this. 9/11 is the thing that started this, and the jingoistic xenophobia that went on within the Republican Party.
Yeah, look, I don't know how accurately they're going to be able to poll, so-called illegal immigrants. They don't. Those.
Well,
it
doesn't really matter. He said Hispanics, and I think he's right. Right now, if I was a Hispanic, I can totally see why you would feel that way. I asked a Mexican how he felt about voting for Trump, and he's like, hell no. And I can understand it completely.
Well, right. I mean, wouldn't you think that the number one reason why a migrant type of person would vote Democrat is because they're the ones who at least appear as though they're a little bit more welcoming, as though that they appreciate the idea that they're coming here, that it has less to do with a belief in welfare and more to do with not having the government jam down their throat, or at least the perception of that. If the Republicans had come out with a position of we're against welfare and we're in favor of you moving here, then that would have changed everything for them.
That's not what the polling data suggests.
Well,
like
also,
I was telling you,
would you agree that that Democratic financial policy keeps poor people poor?
I don't think. I think it's immaterial to the discussion. The point is that they vote Democrat because they want bigger government.
Okay, so you're not going to answer my question. That's fine.
You're changing the subject.
No, I'm not changing the subject. I'm trying to get to a point here.
I think most of them don't vote, by the way. I'd like to point that out.
Yeah, that's probably true too.
Yeah. So you can't say they do this or that.
As people get wealthier, they tend to be more fiscally conservative. And the Republicans tell fiscally conservative lies to their constituents, so their constituents go for that. Yes, poor people tend to vote Democrat, and yes, rich people tend to vote Republican as it goes. So the answer would be get them wealthier. The second thing that I didn't get to say in my conversation with the gentleman is that I wouldn't let anyone vote. I don't think, I'm with Lysander Spooner. I'm against women's suffrage because you shouldn't be able to vote on how my life goes. And I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your ethnicity is. And I don't care where you're from. You shouldn't be able to vote on how my life goes, sir. You shouldn't be able to choose my leader, and neither should somebody from across the border. What I would say is that a person who enters in and gets one of my blue cards, as I proposed, would never in their entire life be eligible to vote. And maybe not their kids either. Because the Constitution has a problem with this natural-born citizen line in it. We don't know exactly what it means, but there's no particular reason why somebody should just be born on this plot of land and get to vote. I think that you should, at the very least, have to do what the immigrants have to do and take the citizenship test one time to be able to vote. So, that's the other part of my policy that didn't get mentioned here, but it's worth mentioning.
So, Jason, I've got a question for you. Are you still with us?
I don't think he is.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. So just want to see what you want to do about it. Let's take what you've said at face value. Let's claim that the poll, which of course we know polling results can be manipulated and all that, but we don't know who they talk to. But let's say your poll's correct, and that overwhelmingly that migrants here, they want welfare, they're just slackers, and they're not willing to work, and blah, blah, blah. What do you propose?
I think that we need have you guys heard of the Good Lot bill?
Good Lot?
What's that?
It was put forward by Representative Goodlatte. It has like a number of things that Donald Trump was saying that we need, like the wall and several other things, but ending the diversity visa lottery, ending chain migration and some other things, that would go a long way. And also I think one thing that no politician is talking about is we should have the illegal aliens themselves actually could help the government control illegal immigration, and that's an idea that nobody has talked about.
How so?
What they should do is, because if you're an illegal alien, you work in, say, like a meat packing plant or something, you probably know and have information about whether the employer hires illegals, of course, right?
Sure.
And so what the government should do, what someone like Trump should do, is he should offer the illegal aliens themselves a financial reward in exchange for ratting out their
Snitching.
employers to the government.
You believe in snitching on your peaceful neighbors, is what you're saying.
They're not.
You ought to be
peaceful
ashamed of
neighbors
yourself.
Because, let me tell you, they're not peaceful.
Yeah, they are. Most immigrants are here actually working hard. They're doing jobs that you don't want to do.
Helping business, small business, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they're doing jobs that you don't want to do, that Americans have no interest in doing, like slaving away in hot fields, picking fruit and veggies, and working in meat packing plants and these other really crappy jobs. Yes.
I'd like to say also, building a wall is stupid. It's a stupid waste of money. I spent plenty of time in prisons around Florida, and I'm telling you that a wall without guards is useless.
Oh, I'm sure they want to put guards all over that wall.
Well, that's what they're going to have to do. But Republicans talk as though we're just going to build a wall and that's going to be it. A wall isn't going to do anything but get torn down, cut through, blown up in very short order. As soon as it's done, unless you've got some kind of technology for handling that, and somebody can respond within 5 minutes to a wall, then what are you going to do?
Thank you for the call tonight, Jason. Appreciate hearing from you as we continue. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's toll-free. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line room, so join us there at discord.lrn.fm. It's Ian and Mark here for the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. And again, the toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, the only answer to keeping immigrants out is a total police state and a total crackdown. That's the only way you could do it.
Let the terrorists win.
Is that what you really want? It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. Freedom freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition here as always. We invite you to join us. You can take control of the airwaves, the toll-free number. It's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, Mark, we are traveling yet again. It has been a traveling year for Free Talk Live.
Busy time for FTL.
Going to Freedom Fest. That starts in just a few weeks from now.
July 17th through the 20th at the Paris Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. I can't wait.
Has it been there before? Is it a similar venue?
It was at Bally's previously,
Okay.
but maybe Paris is the upgrade. I don't know.
New venue. That's cool. I've never been before. This will be my first time going. Mark, you've been to what, 2 or 3 of these things?
I'd say
Maybe
2
more?
or 3, yeah.
2 or 3. freedomfest.com/FTL is where you can go to learn more about the event. Their theme this year is the Wild West, liberty and opportunity, or lawlessness and violence.
I got my cowboy costume ready.
Oh, yeah? You're going to have speeches from Penn Jillette, Lenore Skenazy, Candace Owens, John Mackey, Kevin O'Leary, Kevin Harrington, Stephen Moore, Grover Norquist, and more. You can go to freedomfest.com/FTL, learn more about the event, get your tickets, use code FTL50 to get a discount. That's FTL like Free Talk Live, FTL50. You get a discount. If you want to get a little sample, a little taste of what it was like last year, you can go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you can watch the 5 best speeches from 2018 for free, including Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz, Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, John Mackey, all at freedomfest.com/FTL. We will be broadcasting from the event, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Freedom Fest July 17th through the 20th. freedomfest.com/FTL. Code is FTL50. Let's go to Larry, listening in South Carolina. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Hey, so I was curious what you guys thought about like millennials and like how things are changing into like a more I don't know the right word. I'm trying to think, like more sensitive environment with these millennials, and I don't like it. What do you guys think about it?
I have. So first off, I don't like this whole narrative that the old generation's right, the new generation's wrong. Because I was part of the new generation once, and I was pretty sure the old people were full of crap. However, I do see the point on millennials. Also, it's completely impossible to say. What do you say? Hello?
Sorry. Hey.
Go ahead.
Go right ahead.
What?
All right, we're going to let you go. Thanks for the call.
I'm not
sure what he said there.
Yeah.
Didn't sound like it was good, though.
It didn't, no. I don't think that you can throw in people who are like span 17 years into one category and say they're like this. But I do think
just like that last guy, you can't say immigrants are X, Y, or Z. Like they're all individuals. They're all people.
Most
humans.
of our, all just about everybody has an ancestor who's an immigrant.
Yeah.
So, to say that they're like anything is very, very difficult. But, it's when it comes to millennials, I see some of the points that are made. I see these kids in college. By the way, many of them are Generation Z at this point. But these kids in college with their, what are these little rooms that they have for when they have
safe zones or whatever?
Safe zones,
safe
right?
Space?
Whatever it is. And it's like, wow. Man, these kids need trigger warnings before they read classic books of literature or whatever. I'm just college professors, not exactly bastions of conservative thought, are complaining that the young people are too sensitive, that they can't handle new ideas, that they protest rather than listening and refuting. And being on the radio and having people call their program directors and say, this guy shouldn't be on the air, he's nuts. I feel their pain, right? Like, call in if you disagree with me. But, whatever.
Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So earlier we were talking about innovators, disruption, changing industry, doing it without asking for permission first, which is, of course, the way that you can actually disrupt. Because if you ask the government for permission first, they're going to tell you no. They've got their buddies in industry that have been paying them for years. They've been, sending them to fancy dinners and giving them campaign contributions and, doing all kinds of things for them. And then all of a sudden, these innovators and disruptors come into their business and they change everything virtually overnight. And before you know it, these old industries they're mad, they're upset, they want to know why the government didn't stop them, that stand in their way. And the rest of us, we're all grateful because now we have, in the case of traveling, like Uber and Lyft, we have other options that we can avail ourselves of. In a lot of cases, better, more available options that you don't have to wait as long on. So thank goodness Uber and Lyft didn't come to the local taxi cab licensing organizations and say, hey, we were thinking about starting a new business here, and we think it's going to be really great, and we just wanted to make sure we jump through all of your hoops first. Just tell us what we need to do.
Right. If you ask the government, the answer is always no. Yeah. Give us a check.
Yeah. So thank goodness they didn't. Now, looking at some of the older companies that are struggling and in some cases completely failing, here's a story from Cleveland.com about a newspaper in Youngstown, Ohio, that recently marked its 150th anniversary and has now told its employees, as of yesterday afternoon, that they plan to close.
Man.
It's the Vindicator is the paper. It was reported on by WFMJ, a Youngstown television station that's owned by the same family as the Vindicator. The news was independently confirmed by the Plain Dealer. WFMJ quoted a letter sent to station employees Friday by the paper's general manager. According to the station, the letter by Mark Brown, the GM, and Vindicator publisher Betty Brown Jagnow explained the decision will be published in Saturday's Vindicator. A source confirmed to the Plain Dealer that the Vindicator's owners had sought out buyers but were unable to find one.
Well, that could mean that they just weren't willing to sell at the price that was offered or something like that.
Now what are they going to do? Sell the equipment off the presses at a fraction of its original
right. Anybody
value?
want some newspaper printing equipment?
That's going to go fast.
Valuable.
Yeah. How many bidders are they going to get?
So there's certainly newspaper companies in America that are doing okay. None of them that are doing as stellar as they'd like to be, I assure you. I'm of the opinion that if the dailies took the weeklies model, that they would be able to eat their lunch. But none of them seem to want to do it because it's like sleeping with the riffraff or something. So for those that don't know, weeklies are these, people call them rags, right? These rags where they're half ads. Mm-hmm. Another quarter of them's advertorial, yep. And then maybe they got a few feel-good stories on things that are going on in the community, right? There's no hard-hitting news that's going on there.
Right.
People want the hard-hitting news, but it's getting harder and harder and less valuable to receive the local newspaper. You can get the stories you want to get online, and you don't have to deal with it. But if the locals, the dailies, just threw in more ads, maybe they have to cut pricing. Well, cutting pricing is better than going out of business. You cut pricing on ads, throw more ads in, do some more community interest, or, community interest probably doesn't matter. They do plenty of that. But give your paper away for free. Give it away for free, and then people will, see the ads, and then you can get the money for the ads.
In theory, maybe. I mean, maybe it's too little too late.
It could be too little too late, but it's hard to know.
Yeah, well, and it may just be putting a bandage on something that's ultimately hemorrhaging and may extend its life a few more years. We're coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20. Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You're invited if you want to join us here, live Saturday edition of the show. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Yet another newspaper going under. They are closing the doors on Youngstown newspaper The Vindicator, and after 150 years of publication. As we continue, we can tell you more about that. Plus, Mark, you got a story out of a local paper here about a woman getting tied to a bed.
I do.
It sounds kind of weird, so let's get into that coming up here in just a moment. Also, want to say thanks to Freedom Rider, who is a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier. Freedom Rider is a supporter of Free Talk Live through the AMP program, as is Chris, who is a Platinum amplifier. Which you can do by becoming an amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com. Now, all we ask for is the silver level, which is $5 a month, but Chris is doing platinum, and that's $25, and we sure do appreciate that as well. But we appreciate everybody who amps the show, because your $5 a month makes a big difference for us. It helps us market the show more effectively to radio stations. We're on over 200 stations now, from coast to coast and beyond in the United States. And a lot of those stations, the super majority of them, I think we wouldn't have them if it weren't for the AMP program. I really believe that. It's listeners like you that make this possible, that make this show as successful as it is, because you back us up at the AMP program. Go to amp.freetalklive.com, and you'll learn about the perks that you'll get access to, like the supporters chat rooms on our Discord chat server. There's also a Facebook AMP-only group that I believe is still fairly active.
Yeah, still going on,
so,
still trucking along.
If you're still on Facebook, that'll be something you can access as well. So head over to amp.freetalklive.com. You can get a list of the full benefits there, and a list of some of the things we're spending the money on over at ampamp.freetalklive.com. And yes, you can sign up with PayPal, you can use credit card, and you can use Bitcoin BTC at amp.freetalklive.com. And maybe that's what the newspapers need to do, is ask for donations in order to stay alive. This 150-year-old newspaper announcing to its staff yesterday, after celebrating 150 years recently, they announced they were going to be shutting down. They had tried to find buyers for the paper, but the owners were unsuccessful at finding buyers. The paper will stop printing at the end of August. According to Todd Franco, who's the Vindicator editor-in-chief, he says it's stunning news for us internally, and it's going to be stunning for the community over the next days and weeks, especially a community that's endured as much as the Valley has, most recently with the General Motors Lordstown closure, he said. Whereas Vintage a brand is GM, and it's tough for all of us. Obviously, my first concerns are for my coworkers and the people who've spent decades here, but I'm also sad for the Valley and what they're going to lose. It's a loss for thousands. And, of course, it's probably thousands less than it originally was 20 years ago. The subscription rates on newspapers have been declining, in a lot of cases, precipitously over the last 20 years. Here in Little Keene, New Hampshire, we've seen, a lot of these papers, they hire third-party auditors to come in and, audit their circulation rates. And so, you don't just have to trust what the paper says. There's usually some third party that gives you the numbers. And those numbers at the local newspaper, which seems to be healthy, they seem to be all right as far as, they're still in business. They still have employees.
The bricks on the building look fine when I drive by. What do I know?
Yeah. They have lost like half of their subscribers.
No.
They're down to like 7,000.
I don't entirely understand why this is when you look at, the coupons.
Well, they die off, number one.
That's true. But, if you just look at coupons, stores offer these coupons, and your newspaper is worth it from that standpoint. But I can tell you this, my wife, who used to be quite the coupon clipper, she doesn't get the paper anymore because she's like, I don't want to go through all that stuff. If I want to get coupons, well, for one, she changed the way that we sort of eat at the house, and she's like, she only buys whole foods, like vegetables and meats and things like that. You don't get coupons on that. And there's not really coupons for those. You got coupons for Cheetos and
box stuff,
ice cream and things like that.
In interviews, current and former Vindicator staff members expressed sadness, both for employees of the paper and for the Mahoning Valley community. Bertram D'Souza, the Vindicator's editorial page editor and a columnist, recalled that when he joined the staff 40 years ago this month, the paper staffed multiple bureaus across the Valley at the time.
What's he going to do about his pension?
And reached some 100,000 readers per day. Unfortunately, the reality of our industry hit home. Literally, it's painful for somebody like me who has dedicated my life. D'Souza initially planned to stay in the Valley for 2 years, but stayed on because of the close bond he formed with the paper's owners and because they gave him the freedom to pursue the stories about organized crime and public corruption that he wanted to tell.
Yeah, that was Youngstown, and they have a history of that. My mother's from there.
He says, we've been at the forefront of fighting public corruption in the Valley, and on top of that, he noted the papers provided a daily record of weddings and deaths and club meetings, all of the stuff that makes a local newspaper important to a community. But obviously not that important because they're going out of business.
Yeah, and newspaper companies around the United States, this is happening more and more. Youngstown, not exactly the biggest community in America, but not a small one either.
I mean, how many people find out that somebody has died because of an obituary column nowadays?
I don't know.
Unless you're over the age of 65, you probably got an email or you probably saw something on social media about the person who's passed away. You may have gone to their social media page and left some sort of a, death note there for them.
I couldn't tell you the last time I picked up a daily and flipped through it.
I was in jail the last time I read a newspaper.
For your civil disobedience bout?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been years.
Yeah, that was 2011. Kalia Hall, who was a reporter at the paper for 5 years, recalled growing up reading The Vindicator with her grandmother. She says it was the paper that first taught me the importance of journalism. It was always scrappy and going after corrupt officials, and I was in awe of that. She noted the paper's role in shedding light on systemic public corruption in the Valley. And there's no doubt that good reporting can do some really good stuff of outing corrupt politicians and corrupt cops and all of that.
And newspapers were a great source of good reporting at one point, but what happens now? And people seem to know less and less about their local communities and more about the national stuff. That's only going to give power to the national folks. You don't want a nation with power. You want a local community with power. That way, of the power that's out there, you want a more powerful local community. That way you get to have more influence on what goes on in your life.
The paper, by the way, is the only daily paper in Mahoning County. So there's not like a second paper that's beating them. There's nothing else out there. And so, the question that some are asking is, this quote here, she says, I only hope someone somewhere picks up the slack and continues to ask the hard questions, like the Vindicator reporters did for years. And certainly there are opportunities for people to fill this gap because people do still want information. People do still want to know what's going on. That's one of the reasons why local radio is still somewhat alive, because it is a source for local news and comment and information, and in many cases the only local source for that kind of thing.
I think that many stations, not all, certainly, there's a lot of hard-hitting reporting going on there. Many stations choose to take the easy route with their local officials so that they can get them on.
So do many newspapers.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's go to Andrew. He's listening in Battle Creek, Michigan to WBCK-FM. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
Hey. You're on the air.
Yes, I am. Do you follow any of the technology that's propping up nowadays? For instance, ray tracing?
Oh, I'm vaguely familiar with this. It is a computer graphics technology that makes, rays of light look really pretty when you're playing video games.
Well, not just for video games. It's actually been used in the industry for, I believe, 10 years now. Just a big computer fan, this is becoming commercially viable and is quite interesting, along with, I don't know if you know about the feud between AMD and Intel.
Let's talk a little bit more about it here, and see if we can make it relevant to our wider audience of, general radio listeners. So stand by, Andrew, because, they may not know what the feud is between Intel and AMD, but they should know that those are the processor manufacturers that are likely powering their laptops.
Very, very likely between those two.
Their desktop computers. You'll see a little more variety in smartphone processors. There's some other manufacturers involved there, but AMD and Intel are the two biggies still in the home computing and business computing fields. There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Janess has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to gcnlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to gcnlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free in these remaining moments. We have enough time for you if you want to join us here. 855-450-FREE. We'll also find out about this lady tied to a bed. Mark, you've got that story, and if we get the chance, we'll get into it here. But we're also talking about the death of another newspaper. And, there are some that are sort of hanging on out there, but are there any of them that are actually, healthy, that are doing great, that are increasing their number of subscribers? And it seems unbelievable that there would be.
Well, I laid out a plan that I think that if newspapers took it on, that I think that they could see some growth. And that plan is to basically
We don't need to recap the whole thing, but you did it earlier. So if you missed that plan, you can go download our archive anytime over at freetalklive.com.
Give it away for free is basically it.
Yeah, we go back to, well, that's what people expect on the internet, right? So
It is.
do the same thing in print. Let's go back to Andrew. He's on the line in Battle Creek listening to WBCK. He actually called in also on our Discord call-in line, so you're going to sound a lot better now. Go ahead, Andrew. You were saying you were asking about the conflict between AMD and Intel. What about it?
Well, first off, I'd like to talk about the newspaper. And yeah,
sure.
What you're just a little in Battle Creek, we have something called the Shopper, and they to a word, to a T, they do what you do. Donations, advertisement, and they give it out for free.
Yep, that's right. A once a week kind of thing. They have that same exact thing here in Keene.
Every Thursday, they throw it on your doorstep. Yep. But back to I guess because I've been in this sphere, that this tech bubble for a long time, and I guess I kind of jumped in a bit too hard. This is real. What's happening right now is really, really good for consumers, because not only are AMD attacking with Ryzen, they're gaming focused, but they're more office, which is really where Intel has had 90% of the stock share for the past 10 years. And this is great for anybody who's actually looking into buying stocks, really. AMD is releasing their new Ryzen line, which I believe
this is a processor line.
Yes. Ryzen is their more gaming focused processor line, which has bursted their stocks open.
Yeah, I think I had heard this about AMD having some difficulty over the last decade, but thank goodness, they're out there. I mean, can you imagine how bad computers would be if there was only one processor manufacturer allowed, if the government stepped into this field and said, whoa, we can't have you people out there competing in this field. These are important businesses here.
It's about efficiency. We're just, why would you need two companies? It's doubling, doubling activity.
So, Andrew, anything else you want to share? Go ahead.
It's good that there is another one, obviously, because there's a new technology that AMD and Intel both have been trying to develop called 7-nanometer processing. This is the size of the processor that they have that you put inside of your computer, and the smaller, the faster it can run.
Right.
And Intel has been on what's called the 10-nanometer standard for I think about 7 years, really stifling this. And since AMD is really taking a bunch of the market share away from and not only the gaming sphere, but in servers and workstations.
Well, plus don't forget the drive towards better and better graphics processors, which partially is driven by Bitcoin mining and cryptocurrency mining. So there's been a lot of competition, hot competition in that area. That actually it's been so crazy that they haven't even been really able to feed the demand, from what I understand, on a lot of these graphics cards. Andrew, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate your thoughts. It's always exciting to see new developments in the area of technology. Now, Mark, let's get back to the old school of tying people to bedposts. What is this story?
Well, the story here is out of the sentinelsource.com. That's the Keene Sentinel, which is, I don't know, an old newspaper and stuff.
That's that newspaper I mentioned here in Keene earlier that has lost like half its subscribers over 20 years.
So a judge Thursday rejected a proposed plea deal for a Swansea man, that's a town near Keene, accused of confining his girlfriend and a young child to a bedroom overnight. Now, I'm not going to accept this sentence, said Cheshire County Superior Court Judge David Rauff. He said at the end of a 10-minute hearing, some cases just need to go to trial, and I think this is one of them.
Wow.
The agreement.
So he refused a plea deal.
Yes.
This judge said, nope, you're going to trial, buddy.
And the agreement reached by the case's prosecutor and an attorney for Michael J. Grant, 33, involved a 2-year jail sentence with the possibility of release on electronic monitoring after a year, as well as a suspended sentence and a requirement to obtain a psychological evaluation. Grant is charged with 2 felonies, criminal restraint and reckless conduct, as well as misdemeanor counts of domestic violence, false imprisonment, reckless conduct, and domestic violence, and endangering the welfare of a child. He's been held without bail at the Cheshire County Jail since his May 10th arrest, and prosecutors allege Grant chained his girlfriend to a bed, confined her to a bedroom overnight while he went to work. They also claim an 8-year-old boy with whom Grant knew was locked in the room with her. So the door was locked in the room, and she was chained to the bed. Assistant
must have been locked from the outside. Oh, she's chained to the bed. Now, was the young boy also chained?
No.
Okay.
Not chained. Assistant Cheshire County Attorney Carrie O'Neill
Then the
said
door must have been locked from the outside, right? Because otherwise an 8-year-old boy can open any old door.
That's what my guess is. Yes. Told a school counselor that, well, the 8-year-old, by the looks of it, the kid was sleeping when they showed up. So, not like the kid was pounding on the door or anything,
out.
Right?
Yeah.
The best we can tell. According to the affidavit written by Swansea Police, Division for Children, Youth, and Families notified police of the boy's statements that went to Grant's residence on Swansea for that night, a single-family house with bedrooms rented by several different tenants, and found his bedroom locked from the outside. After speaking to a woman through the door, police pried the door open and saw her chained to the bed by her ankle. The boy was in the room sleeping but wasn't restrained, according to the affidavit, which says a bucket had been left on the floor, apparently as a toilet.
Okay.
But, hey, look.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
I've gone camping, and I've used a bucket before.
Yeah.
So I understand. They're calling it a very perplexing picture. Chaining someone to a bed is very, very serious, the judge said. So is there an issue?
Unless she wanted it.
Is there an issue with the case? O'Neill, the prosecutor, said the case is complicated and the woman has not been cooperative with police.
Interesting.
O'Neill said her understanding is that O'Neill's a woman, that Grant was accusing the woman of cheating and she agreed to be chained.
As punishment.
Well, maybe as just a preventative measure. I don't know. Maybe she can't control herself.
Right.
This is a very controlling defendant, I
Kinky.
think, O'Neill says. So on one hand, she consents. On the other, well, I mean, look, I don't know how many Americans participate in tying people up, on a consensual basis.
I hear there's websites where they can meet each other.
But are we going to arrest people for this behavior now? Like, I don't know.
What did you score on your fetish quiz?
What did you score on your fetish quiz?
Pretty vanilla, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty ordinary. Thanks.
I couldn't remember if you were one of those tie-me-up people
No
or not.
way. I don't want to be tied up.
I remember there was some shocking result that you
It's
had.
not shocking.
I forget which one it was, though.
It's claimed that I like to be humiliated.
That's what it was.
Which I must, working with you. It's humiliating just going on the air with you every night.
That's right, you were a degradee. That's what it called you.
After rejecting the plea deal, Rolfe left the courtroom and did not further
So you are
explain.
the kind of guy who would want to get tied to a bedpost.
Absolutely not. I do not want to be chained up in any way. I don't really understand the outcome of that test, and I think that it just sort of randomly assigns things. In an abusive, controlling relationship, a person may not submit to something, like being confined in a room, but that doesn't mean it's voluntary, said Linda Douglas, a trauma-informed services specialist at the New Hampshire Coalition Against Domestic Sexual Violence in the statewide advocacy prevention
If
group.
she's not willing to testify, if she is not saying, I was a victim, these charges should be dropped. Now, it makes me wonder what now, of course, did the little boy, was he crying or was he mad about, it didn't sound like it. He was asleep. But,
he was with his mom.
I have to wonder what the judge is doing here. Is the judge saying that he thinks that this guy isn't actually guilty and should be,
I don't know what the judge is doing, but I think it's a very good question. The problem is that he says he should go to trial. How long is it going to take this guy to get to trial? One of the reasons that he's taking this plea is so he can get out in a year. Well, who knows?
Is he
what's
still
gonna
in
happen.
jail?
Well, he was certainly in jail from May the 11th up to now, and there's no suggestion that he's gotten out.
Right. Yeah, the judge didn't grant him bail at the same time as saying he should go to trial.
Look, I don't
that's
understand.
crappy.
I don't understand what people do in the privacy of their own homes all the time. I don't get it. But when you're talking about consenting adults, I don't really know what to do about it. I know that I've read stories on the internet where people participate voluntarily in master-slave relationships.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily sexual, or at least not entirely sexual.
So here's what you do if you're into this chaining people up or whatever. Don't have roommates who don't understand what's going on.
Get a piece of paper. Get a signature for every step of the way.
Get your own piece of property where, you can just do whatever your kinky stuff is on your own.
Well, Not every kinky person is rich enough to have their own place.
Yeah, you don't have to be that rich to, have a house in the middle of nowhere. They're not that expensive. We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,409. Silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,812. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in a decision that voting rights advocates warned would open the floodgates for even more extreme and undemocratic redistricting than what is already in place throughout the nation, the Supreme Court effectively condoned partisan gerrymandering on Thursday by ruling that the practice is beyond its constitutional reach. The Mind Unleashed reports the ruling was 5-4 along party lines, with conservative Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion. Slate legal journalist Mark Joseph Stern tweeted Thursday that the High Court's ruling is the, quote, nightmare scenario for voting rights advocates, end quote. Frida Levinson, legal director at ACLU of Ohio, said the Supreme Court's ruling will allow the practice of gerrymandering to continue, to flourish, and to evade review by the judicial system, and leaves redistricting in the hands of those who will continue to abuse their awesome power whenever they can to defeat the will of the voters. In a scathing dissent, liberal Justice Alina Kagan accused the High Court's 5 conservative judges of abdicating their constitutional duties, quote, just when the courts across the country, including those below, have coalesced around manageable judicial standards to resolve partisan gerrymandering claims, end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Twitter, on Thursday, announced it would suppress President Trump's tweets going into the 2020 election by downranking those which violate their rules via algorithms. Offensive material from the President of the United States will also receive a label that applies to all verified political candidates and government officials with over 100,000 followers. According to the Washington Post, before users can view the language in newly flagged tweets, they will need to click on a screen that says the Twitter rules about abusive behavior apply to this tweet. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain available. The Mind Unleashed reports Twitter will deprioritize the labeled tweets so they would be seen by fewer people, which adds that the policy will go into effect immediately and will not apply to other influencers and leaders. It's also not retroactive. A Brazilian Air Force pilot, who was one of the crew members on their way to serve as the advance guard for Brazil President Bolsonaro during the forthcoming G20 summit in Osaka, was arrested during a stopover in Seville en route to Japan, after Spanish customs officers discovered enough cocaine on him to fuel a small Wall Street bank's party for a month, in what has become an international embarrassment for Bolsonaro, who is known as Brazil's Trump and also the country's self-professed law and order president. The Mind Unleashed reports the 38-year-old airman appeared in court Wednesday on charges of drug trafficking after Spanish officials discovered 37 packets of cocaine weighing a total of 39 kilos in baggage. Officers from Spain's Guardia Civil took the crew member into custody, and a police spokesman in Seville said the whole bag was filled with drugs. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A prison rights group protests the treatment of supervillains in the nation's magnetic detainment cubes. A local dad thought he could make it out of a zoo without buying his kids light-up shit, and a pigeon wishes just once it could complete a head movement smoothly. This is the Onion Week in Review. Millions of frustrated Americans across the country asked this week why the nation's struggling mental health system couldn't just get it together and stop feeling sorry for itself. Exasperated citizens told reporters that they had lost all patience with the ailing network's failure to perform basic tasks, such as routine mental health evaluations and emergency counseling.
Look, I get it. Everyone goes through a rough patch. Just look at the education system. I know times are tough, but things are never going to improve unless the system decides it wants to get better.
In other news, a new study finds that more men are opting to be in the room when their wife conceives their baby. An area man is unaware all of his friends think of him when they want to put things into perspective, and 36 chemical and emotional responses are activated by the phrase pigs in a blanket.
This is the Onion News Network.